I welcome you to the town board meeting of the town of Lake Mills this October 14th, 2014 at 8 p.m. in the town hall. The meeting is called to order. The notice was published in the Lake Mills Leader October 8th, 2014 and posted at the town hall, the North End boat launch, the cul-de-sac at Finch Brothers Road, and the town's website on October 6th. Mr. Nass in the planning committee suggested that we not even go through the roll call drill. All present and accounted for. Okay. Clerk. Item number 3, the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt October's agenda as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. The agenda is passed. Item number 4, the approval of the minutes from the September meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Not on my end.
Nope.
All in favor of approving the minutes from the September 9th meeting, 2014, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, same sign. Item number 5 is the approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make the motion to approve our October's treasurer's report.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you, Jim. Is there any discussion on the treasurer's report? I know you're going to bring up the dollar check again. So.
Well, I thought about that when I was reviewing it tonight, but I thought, you know what, I'll just leave it alone.
D. Scott McKinley, would you please cash your $1 check that has come from the town of Lake Mills? We thank you very much.
You're messing up our books.
You're messing us up. And if you do not have your check anymore, would you please do something about that by contacting our treasurer, Sharon Ginterberg? All in favor of approving the October 2014 treasurer's report, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. The treasurer's report is passed. Item number 6 is the approval of the general funding vouching.
I'll make a motion that we approve vouching in the amount of $30,586.47.
Second.
Are there any questions or discussion?
The only question I have is, Bob, the $913.71 for squad repair, was that just a winter service or was it something broken?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of what it was.
We have those invoices, so we can look it up. There was an overheating issue in the squad.
Yeah, one of the,
Actually, I think they thought that the squad might need to be towed in. They let it sit for a while.
yeah, Jim had it out.
Cooling
Yeah.
fan was the majority of it.
And the cooling fan.
Oh,
Something, yeah.
okay.
So that's really what's going down. The people at Steve's told me that this is a constant problem in police vehicles.
Oh, sure.
They are certainly
I know
geared
a
for
lot.
speed, and so that's a problem. Are there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the general funding vouching, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. The vouching is approved. Thank you, Sharon, again for details. Details. Item number 7, reports, the police report.
Police report for September. We had 771 miles for patrol. There was 22 hours of radar. We handled 10 complaints. There was 2 hours for court time. There was 5 parked cars checked. We issued 21 traffic citations, 6 boat launch and parking citations, 1 equipment repair notice, 15 traffic warnings, 2 assist motorists, 4 assist other departments, and 5 follow-up investigations for road patrol. In boat patrol for September, there was only 7 hours of patrol with 16 hours of administration. That was removing the boat from the lake and getting it put away and winterized, and the lift. And there was $62.87 for gas and oil for the boat and some stable.
The lift is left outside down at Sandy Beach.
Pardon me?
It's left. The lift is left
No,
outside.
they take it out. That's why they wanted us to get the boat out of there when we did, because they pulled the lifts all out.
But yes,
But
it sits
it's-
outside,
Yeah.
Down there.
but the cover and all the
Canopy
equipment
goes where?
is under wraps.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I thought you meant in the water.
No. I didn't,
You got anything else you want to add, Bob?
Nothing right offhand.
Okay. Moving on to the Joint Rock Lake Committee report. I see no one here from the Joint Rock Lake Committee report. I asked the Joint Rock Lake Committee if they would spend a little time helping us with the boat launch at the north end and the bumpers. It's been a very frustrating thing, and those guys seemed anxious to take on that little project, so I asked them for a little help. If you haven't been by the north end boat launch, the new bumpers that we put on are just beat to heck. And obviously that was not the right solution. So I've asked them to do a little work with me to help make that happen before we put it in the water again. The launch is still functioning. It is in. I imagine that they will be pulling that launch, depending on the weather, in the early weeks of November. So be prepared if you do not have your boat off the lake that you would like to avail yourself of that launch. Make it happen pretty quick. Lake level is dropping as we speak. The Planning Commission report, Jim.
Took action on two items that are on the agenda for us tonight, and actually one of them, the Plan Commission forwarded a couple of changes to document ordinance 514 that I thought were good, and you have copies of those, so we'll be reviewing that.
Anything else? Oh, I think there's an important announcement. I think you should announce your non-candidacy.
Oh, I was going to do that under public comment.
All right, that'll
Okay.
be just fine.
Okay, fine.
That'll be just fine. Item D, clean boats, clean waters. We're going to suspend that discussion until we take that up under item C, under new business. If you don't mind staying, Patricia, for that. And are there any other committee reports?
on the 24th of September, the Fire and EMS Commission met in Cambridge. Lots of housekeeping. The biggest thing is we're still looking into the purchase of a new ambulance, and we ran across two used ones. The Wanakee trades theirs out every 5 years, and they have about 50,000 miles on them, and it looks like we can get them for about $60,000 a piece. So that'll be a whole lot better buy than 200,000. Get two of them
Really?
for 60,000 each.
They're thinking about buying two.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we already have two.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Interesting
Sorry.
details. I should, in my experience, witness one of your meetings.
Oh, sometimes it's a joy. The only drawback to it is we're looking into purchasing the new power cots, but they're $44,000 each. So right now, there's enough money in the budget to purchase those two $60,000 ambulances, but they may have to wait for the purchase of the cots.
Yep.
But
They're sweet.
as you look into the cost of a couple workman's comp claims, then it makes it look a little bit cheaper. So we're still kicking that around a little bit.
Wow.
And then we went over the budget preliminary. We'll finish that up in December. Sarah, it looks like we're going to go up about 2%. So that really shouldn't be too bad for us. But
Dave, thank you very much for serving. As though maybe some of you don't know, Dave is our appointed rep to the Cambridge EMS and Fire Commission. He does the hard work of lifting whatever they have for us because we are part of that organization. So I appreciate your service there. I do need to get there sometime. They'll be scared if I come. All right, on to item number 8, the period of public comment and questions. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Mr. Colgrove.
Okay, I am, at this time, I am not planning on running for another term on this fine board. I am actually honoring a commitment that I had made in my statement of candidacy when I ran for this term. This will be my second term, and so I'm hoping that some very concerned citizen comes forward and wants to take up the charge of this great work.
And what about the Plan Commission, Jim? You gonna hang around and have some fun on there for 8, 10 more years?
I can neither confirm nor deny any such thing.
Don't you think we could use them?
I told him it was too early for him to go. So, we are all facing election, all of our board members are facing election in April. We will begin to circulate nomination papers in December. Sarah
Have
will
to be
make
signed before December 31st, if I remember correctly.
I think that's how the process works, and so I wanted it to become public knowledge that Jim does not want to seek another term. I don't think Dave and I have really committed yet, have we?
Depends on when the trees fall out in the dark.
And I just thought that it would be good public knowledge to know that we need a third member on our board as we approach the election in April. Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment or have a question for the board that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the review of applications filed. Item A is the discussion and decision on parcel split and rezone for N6889 Newville Road by Mike Stady. I called him by his proper name tonight.
Could you come up to the microphone?
Okay. You got some questions, or?
Mike is attempting to divide some property that he has purchased on the corner of Cool Road and Newville Road.
Yep.
And has been before the Planning Commission. Why don't you tell us what you want to do, Mike?
Well, the first, there's basically 3 steps. The first step would be I believe they call it farm consolidation. Sell get that zoned off on 5 acres. 5 acres, you got some animal rights. And I think everybody would have a copy of that survey. And the natural lay of the land, the 5 acres would be right up to that existing tree line. So that's why I prefer the 5 acres.
Right.
We'll see that.
Wasn't there something also, if you decide to sell in the future, somebody might want to one animal unit per acre, and so 5 animal units would seem reasonable?
You know, I've got 7 children, and they have 4-H and FFAs, and whether it's a horse or it's a lamb or something, then you got, there's existing farm buildings there that would utilize some of that. Mm-hmm. I know there is restrictions as far as the number of animals, correct? Yep. On the 5 acres.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You'd have 5 units.
Yeah.
5 animal units.
So, a guy could have a few heifer calves or whatever.
Right. Yep.
I think a horse is what, 1.1?
Oh, is it?
1.2?
I know what a cow is.
I'm not a horse fan.
Just
What's a
1 to
cow?
1. I thought it was 1 to 1.
1.4 is a cow, okay.
Okay. And then the next, on the map, you can see that's the 5 acres. Then there's the 4-acre lot. And I had talked to a surveyor who had done this, and he had discussed this with Steve prior to working on that map. And I'm under the understanding, because that's almost all non-prime ag land, the 4-acre lot is reasonable.
Okay. Because that was going to be my question, Mike, because it's usually a minimum of 1, maximum of 3. But if it's not prime, then there's concessions. So.
Yeah, and
That is on a hill?
It is,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
And it's the slope of a hill, so it's, because when you get to the top of the hill, where you'd like to be, actually it's a big hill, that's termed as prime ag ground, so it's going to be off to the side.
Sure.
And then the third one, you can see they each would have their own 66-foot easement or right-of-way, would be just the natural resource zone of that woods. And as far as like driveways, I think if you go down Cool Road, right where those would be, there's not a site, problem, I don't feel, as far as you're far enough off the intersection of Newville and Cool. And also it's, it's not a blind spot.
Right, it's straight.
Yeah.
But then that is a non-buildable because it's not
Correct.
a natural
Correct.
resource.
Yeah, so that,
Hunting ground.
there, with 85 acres, my understanding, you have 2 or 3 building rights, but we're gonna wanna consolidate just to one, make it a little bigger, and then
Sure.
that, the natural resource can't be touched, so.
So did we solve the problem that we had at planning that night, that this
Yes.
is one action or 3 actions?
It's actually 2 actions. Sarah confirmed what was going on with Jefferson County. Steve thought it was 3.
Yeah, it's
It was
3.
presented,
1,
it
2,
was,
3.
well, that's what Steve thought.
But I
but
think the
actually-
natural resource zone isn't really considered an action,
Correct.
is that what it is, Sarah?
No, Michelle said that if you're switching from one class to another, then you have an action, since the first 2 are A1 to A3, they go together, and the natural resource is separate.
All right, that's
Okay,
good to
so
know.
there
Thank
it
you
is.
for your help.
Steve thought it was 3, and
Yeah.
so we only received 1 packet, but it's not a big deal. We
I got a
acted on
second-
it
I did
as
get a
3
second
separate.
Yeah, see, because the farm consolidation doesn't count against the split. So that's an action. And then you'd have the A1 to an A3, which is an action, and then you'd have the natural resource.
And
So
that's
I
exactly
still
what,
say it's
and
3.
that's exactly what
That's the way we
Steve,
were looking at it, as
Yeah.
3 different actions, but
I
that's
think
not
That's how
true.
it should be done.
That's not how Michelle said it.
All right, so, help
so at
me.
any rate, the Plan Commission approved all 3 actions, if that's the way we're looking at it, so.
Just want to make sure that we have those actions in the right order. So then, I would make a motion to approve the parcel split and the rezone at N 6889 Newville Road by Mike Stotty,
Which one?
which is, are we going to say?
The 5-acre farm
Farm
consolidation.
consolidation
Consolidation,
and the new lot, the 4-acre new lot.
okay.
She doesn't remember if he
Did
sent
you ever
the
pay a
application
fee?
fee or not.
Or does he need to pay a fee for what he's doing or not?
He's going to need to pay a fee for 2 actions.
$200, correct?
Farm consolidation is 100.
I dropped all that in the mail, and I'm positive I had a $200 check.
We're going to chase you around till you
That's
pay
up to you,
these fees.
but-
I think when I had the big envelope, and it had 12 of those surveys, and then I did write a $200 check.
I was thinking we did have a check from him, but you don't remember?
I haven't seen it, but you might
Oh.
have.
So it's missing in the big
Yeah, it's
envelope.
right there in the big envelope.
Not missing any longer.
All right,
Bigger paper.
so my motion,
Dispose of that envelope, huh?
I was reading it, I was wondering if I get by with 2 or if you wanted 300, so
my
I wrote the smaller one
motion
first.
is for the farm consolidation and the division and rezone of the 4-acre parcel.
I'll
Is there a
second that.
second? Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the parcel split and rezone for N 6889 Newville Road, please say aye. Aye. And all opposed, the same sign. Now, would one of you make the second motion?
I'll make a motion for Mike Stady to approve the 12.6 acre natural resource zone.
Second.
And is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mike, for being patient
Thank
and
you.
working with us on the details. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing right.
Right.
Thank you and good luck. We appreciate your help. Item B, discussion and decision on a parcel split at W 7908 County Highway B by Ken Setz and Lynn Dose. Is that how you say it, Lynn?
That's right.
Jim.
Jim.
Right.
Want to give us a little?
She forgot about you already.
I'm just kind of used to complaining
Yeah,
at my
Joe.
husband, Steve. That's good. You want to give us a little background on this from the planning committee standpoint?
Okay. Ken and Lynn came to us a while back and wanted to show this to us. They were thinking about doing this, kind of give us a heads up on what was going on. That was 2 months ago, right? And basically this This month, they came forward with the full rezone, splitting up the one larger piece into 3 lots. 80-foot frontage on 2 and 90 on 1, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And to back up a little bit, it really is not a rezone.
Yeah, I
It
was
is
gonna say that-
simply
I'm sorry,
a parcel split.
Parcel split,
Yeah,
I said
it's already
rezone.
R1.
Yeah, it's all R1, so
And so
it's just a parcel.
Ken's lot becomes 3 lots, and we really have no say about that. It's his property, he can do as he wishes.
And
There
they're all
is no need for
conforming.
rezoning.
Yep.
We had a long discussion about the piers and the grandfathering of those, and basically we went with the zoning office's recommendation that piers are all grandfathered, and they are now the responsibility of those people who are owning those properties. They can do what they would like as they see fit. And I would make a motion to approve this parcel split at W 7908 County Highway B.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, the same sign. Go forth and do good work.
Thank you.
Thank you for the process. I think we all learn a little as we go along, so thank you. Item number 10, old business. This is a public hearing and the adoption of proposed amendments to Town Ordinance 4-2, which is entitled Dogs. We've had a great deal of difficulty in the last few years collecting all of the delinquent license fees that we have and administering the notices and also the kennel licensing. And so what we have decided to do is make some changes in the fee schedule. And as we go through our ordinances and change them and adopt them, we are removing the dollar signs from the ordinance itself and transferring them to our fee schedule, so that if we need to amend those fees as we go along, we don't need to necessarily take apart the ordinance, but individually revise the fee schedule. And so this is an important part of that. I will read the notice. It's detailed. The Town of Lake Mills Board is considering the adoption of proposed amendments to Town Ordinance 4-2 Dogs. A public hearing will take place at this board meeting. The ordinance in its entirety is on the town's website. The summary is the section 4-2-2B, formerly the license fee, is to remove all fees listed in dollars and refer to the user to the Town of Lake Mills fee schedule. The board will consider amendments to the fee schedule like I explained. Section 4-2-3B, formerly 4-3-22, notice of impoundment, replace the clerk with facility, which is simply housekeeping, add agent of the contractor as a payment recipient, remove the sum of $25 and replace with fee recorded in the Town of Lake Mills fees and bond schedule. Also remove the second reference to $25 sum and replace with the minimum fee. Section 4-2-7, the kennel license option. Remove all fees listed in dollars and insert refer to the town fees and bonds and deposit schedule. Add section 4-2-10, adoption and amendments. The format and numbering of this ordinance is being updated to the town standard on this 29th day of September 2014. So it's kind of a housekeeping thing, which moves all of the fees to that schedule so that the ordinance will still remain in place. Are there any questions or ideas put forth in this public hearing? Hearing none. A motion to adopt the amendments to Town Ordinance 4-2 Dogs
I'll make
is
that
in
motion.
order.
Second.
I appreciate that. Are there any, is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. I will close the public hearing and propose the adoption of the amendments to Town Ordinance 4-2.
All those in.
All those in favor?
Say aye.
Say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. I'll try to make it short and sweet, guys.
That's okay, sir.
Item B. You couldn't resist. Item B, public hearing and adoption of proposed amendments to Town Ordinance 514, the Planning Commission. This is pretty simple. The Planning Commission was struggling at its last meeting because they had no agenda items, and so as a housekeeping item, they decided that they would like to change their commission as the Planning Commission to reflect what they might do if there was no business to come before them. Correct, Jim?
That is correct.
And so they've done a simple remuneration of their meeting, and I guess I'll read that. The regular Planning Commission meetings are held on the first Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. and shall be open to the public. Item 2, in the event that no business or review of applications has been placed on the agenda for a given monthly meeting, the Planning Commission will not meet that month. A cancellation of the meeting will be posted in the specific locations on the appropriate date. Item 3, minutes from a previous meeting will be placed on the ensuing, and that's the word that's important, agenda for action by the commissioners. And item number 4, special plan commission meetings may be called by the town board or the chairperson or the vice person of the Planning Commission. Special meetings will also be open to the public. So this way, if they decide that they would like to not meet, that their ensuing agenda will take into account everything that should come before them.
That's the idea.
And so this is kind of a no-brainer too. I would ask for a motion
No,
to...
you got a public hearing first.
Oh, yes. I will then, hearing nothing from the public, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion to adopt the proposed amendments to 5-14.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the amendments to Town Ordinance 514, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Thanks for your help, you guys. Item C, discussion and decision on the contract with Jacobson Appraisals for the 2015 annual assessment and 5-year updates on town parcels. You've all had a chance to look at this over the last month. I didn't think that it was necessary that Ron appear before us again.
Right.
Are there any questions ahead of time, or is there a motion to approve the annual assessment and the 5-year update?
I'll make a motion to approve the Jacobson's appraisal, Ron Jacobson, for $13,800 for the annual maintenance and update, plus the $800 additional for the annual assessment, and also $16,300 for the 5-year annual update, for a total of $30,900.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
One thing to note is, I believe that Ron told us that the $800 for the report may not actually go through, right?
Right, yeah.
That is, there's still some confusion at the state level that what the form of the report is and how that's going to be. So it will. This is really a not to exceed number, as I understood it. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, you'll make note of that, Sarah?
Yep.
So I would make a motion, the motion is on the floor. Is there anything else you guys would like to bring forward? All in favor of approving the Jacobson appraisal contract for 2015 and the 5-year updates, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Item D, the appointment of interim police chief. We are in the middle of a transition in the town of Lake Mills. Bob has decided to retire, and we've been in negotiations with the sheriff's department and with Sergeant Matt Miller, and have sort of reached an agreement that entails the fact that Matt will assume the chief's duties as an interim for 1 year from November 1st of 2014 to November 1st of 2015. With the permission of the sheriff, we're hoping that this partnership is successful for all of us. Nothing really changes other than that I'm hoping that Bob will stick around another year
I'm gonna stick around to help.
and help out in case we have trauma or tragedy, and that you will continue to mentor Officer Miller,
Yes.
Sergeant Miller, I gotta start calling him, through that transition period. I wrote a letter to the sheriff. I have not received a reply back,
I
but
saw that, that's why I've been waiting to listen to find out what you heard back.
he is going to be very supportive of what we do. He has been in the past. When we hear the official word, I'm sure it will be before the 1st of November. And so what I would like to do is motion to appoint Matt as our interim police chief with the understanding that he will work with your supervision and the sheriff's supervision for another year at the chief's rate of pay. And we'll go forward from there. I think it'll be a good transition.
I think he'd be a very good choice.
So I would entertain a motion to appoint Sergeant Matthew J. Miller as our interim police chief.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Is there any other discussion?
I guess the only thing is, then, now Matt, he gets a raise to the chief's salary, and then Bob, if he puts any hours in, he still gets his same hourly pay also?
As an officer.
As an
officer.
Okay,
We're talking about $1 here.
right,
All
yeah.
right. So that's,
But just so we're clear,
we're clear on that.
we're back to
Alright.
that dollar on the first page back here.
And I am assuming that Sergeant Miller has no objections to this appointment.
He didn't 2 months ago.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor. All in favor of appointing Matthew J. Miller as our interim police chief, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Now, I need to say thank you, Bob, for all your many years of service. This is not the last thank you you're going to be getting, but I would like you to know how important you have been, how important it is for us to have a police force, especially our water patrol, and how important that is to the town. Thanks a lot.
It's been a privilege.
Yeah, and Bob, what do you have in, 40 years?
About 43.
1971, did I use the right date,
I
Bob?
think that was about right.
Okay, so it's a lot of time that he spent messing around with us, working with different boards, putting up with
And I enjoyed
different
it.
people.
I enjoyed it.
I know you did. I appreciated your letter in the paper too, Bob, so thank you.
Thank you.
We will plan on honoring you officially at our annual meeting in April, so don't go anywhere that you can't be found.
Yeah,
For
check out, make sure.
Second Tuesday in April. I mean,
Yeah.
don't plan your,
Turkey hunt, my first season.
because we would like to honor you. We would like to honor you at that time.
Pardon me?
We would like to honor you at that time. And I will look forward to hearing from the sheriff and hearing from Matt on how he would like to proceed. So I think it'll be a great transition. Thank you, Bob. Item E is our fall road tour report and discussion. I think there are a couple of things that we should highlight in our road tour discussion. We have had some pressure to work on the road called Lakeview Lane. Isn't that what it's called? And this is basically an unpaved, part of the road is unpaved. It's a little cul-de-sac off of County Highway B. It serves like 3 or 4 houses, and our main point of discussion there was the citizens had been asking for some regrading, some repaving, some paving, and basically what we did was some maintenance work this last summer, and we met with the county highway supervisor, and we decided that it wasn't really very proactive for us to do any more grading or work there until the winter months are over. And so we kind of put that Lakeview Lane thing on the front burner for spring to do a little more recycled asphalt and see actually how the drainage is going in the spring.
And I think the big point there was that it was just, the homeowners there are actually snowbirds.
Yep.
So they're out at this point, and the plow was going to basically potentially tear up all of our work that we did this year anyhow. So deferring to the spring was the logical thing to do.
The other thing that was on our list of things that needed to be done was the brushing on the north end boat launch. That has been accomplished. I think that looks pretty good. We cited a number of signs that needed to be replaced or renewed or were kittywampus for some reason or another. That has been addressed. We again, I think, as a group, felt that our funds are insufficient for road maintenance. We would like to take on some more projects, but we simply do not have money for them. We'll be looking at a list of priorities come spring. Anything else you guys want to highlight? As Dave stated earlier, any brushing help that citizens could give us would be certainly a big help. When a tree falls in the road on a cold and windy night, it's one of us that has to come out and take care of it, so that if you see trees that are dead, deceased, or hanging in the road, it would be your responsibility to either let us know or to help us so that we're not caught in one of those storm situations. Anything else you guys want to bring forward?
I have a question.
Yes.
I haven't seen a bill from the county in a long time. Did they do any of our road work this year that they bid on?
Yes.
Okay.
The
But-
gravel and grading,
The gravel
They
and
did.
grading.
Okay, good.
did you get a bill? You haven't gotten anything from them.
Not in,
They did some wedging on London Road,
they did, okay.
and they did a little bit of shouldering
I
on
think
London
we paid
Road.
that bill, the wedging bill.
No,
It's
the only
up.
thing we paid
It's
them
only-
for, or actually them, nothing. It's just the potholes that I've
All right.
done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
And
We've
the
got
chip
our-
seal,
We've
obviously.
got our budget meeting coming up.
right.
Is there a possibility we could maybe shake them a little bit?
Yeah.
And see if they could come through, because that may have an impact. I don't think it will. I think we were good, but
Yes, I will call and find out.
you will do that?
Yes.
All right,
don't
that
want
would be
any
good.
surprises.
Yeah, it'd be good if we took care of it this year.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's
Right.
gonna.
Yep, absolutely.
We are a team of triple dynamics when it comes to a road tour. Well, Jim has really helped us a lot by videotaping some of the scenarios that we're looking at. There was a call to my office about some more access on Stony Creek Road to the pipeline, and so whatever you've done in the past to videotape that road will serve us well in the future.
Great.
Appreciate that.
Now, there is a few things we can do down there. I haven't, the Enbridge has notified you that they have to do some work. Now, what we also can do with those folks is we can require them to put down portable scales to weigh everything in and out. It's a perfect, reasonable request if we want to. And who's the guy that has come?
Actually, I was contacted by a lady this time.
Oh,
not-
Colette?
I think so.
Yep. Okay. I'll talk to her about it.
Okay. I know that you're kind of on them.
So,
Yeah.
so with that, should I go back and take, I'll say, a more detailed
Yeah.
video of the
Yeah.
That'd be great.
area
Yeah.
specifically,
Yep.
so that we,
Yeah. Because we had them do that last time, but that's a fox in a hen house.
you got that right.
And I also had went down and took quite a few still shots, so that if we had any trouble, and there was not. They came in when the road was very firm, and they did just fine.
I thought it was much better that they be coming to us at this time of the year rather than in the springtime, as they have in the past. So whatever work they're doing, I think they have no way of predicting where they're going to be doing work and why.
Well, they do, on the Y part they do, because when they send their sonar pig through the pipe, when they're finding discrepancies, then they're going back in and they're physically inspecting those, and then a lot of them, their hairline cracks in a weld, or a stone might have been, frost moved or heaved down, and they'll weld sleeves over them. Some of them they inspect and everything is just fine, but, so the when part is they don't know how long one project's gonna take compared to the next, so, I'll call Colette and see.
All right.
We deal with it all the time. The only other thing is, hope is, these folks here up in London on Center Street, they had called the day after we had our road tour. And I mentioned, I went up and I looked at it, I mentioned it to you. Did you ever stop and look at that tree? I don't know, you should probably step up there and take a look. And Jim, if you want to, I'll just show it to you later here for the address.
Yep.
I don't know if you wanna, get a bid on this tree. I really don't understand Alliance position on this tree, because it's either going to take down the service to the house, or it's going to take the service by the transformer down. So I'm still under the impression that Alliant needs to top that tree out. But you can read this a little closer, and then we may want to think about if we have to bid this tree out, we may want to put it on next month's agenda.
Okay.
Because it is a huge tree, and it is in very, very poor condition.
Okay. All right, you'll share with us
Yep.
that after the meeting.
Here's
Super. Thanks.
There's the address.
All right. Again, like to prevent these things before they come to fruition in the middle of the night on a crappy night. Item number 11, new business. The discussion and decision on increasing the fee for late renewal of dog licenses.
I think we covered that last month. I think that was a carryover agenda item, actually.
So we already decided
I
this.
think we did.
Yeah, but then it
Sorry.
can't be late renewal. Doesn't it have to be worded as
It's a
a
handling,
processing
right,
fee or
processing.
administration fee?
And I think in the next item, the fee schedule, I think that's the way I wrote it in there.
That's the way it is, right?
Did you get a call from a lady recently who bought a dog license, that she got a citation? Okay.
You got her attention.
Yeah, she
Yes.
said she was gonna send the money for her dog license now.
That's a nice idea.
Handling charge for late renewal is how I worded it it's on page 6.
Okay. So we're moving on to item B, which is the discussion and decision on updates to the Town of Lake Mills schedule of municipal fees, deposits, and bonds. Again, a housekeeping item, line item number 119 of ordinance 4-2-2, which is the handling charge for late renewal of a dog license fee of $25.
You must have, okay.
And that is
Okay.
plus the cost of the license.
Right.
And the late fee,
Right.
right?
the late
Start
fee
out-
is
Plus
already
the
in
late
there.
fee, okay,
I
Start
only
out-
highlighted the things that changed,
yeah.
so.
Start out with the dog license fee on a neutered dog of $6, an unaltered dog of $11, a late fee of $5. The ordinance states that the license is due at the 1st of March.
They're due by March 31st.
March 31st, so the 1st of April, a $25 late handling fee, an impoundment fee of $25, and then a license fee of $35 for a kennel license and $5 for every dog over 12. That's kind of a no-brainer. We've kicked this around. We hope that this will be a deterrent to people who continually forget to pay their dog licenses. Are there any other changes that you want to highlight, Sarah?
I was just hoping that you guys could look through and make sure that I got everything. I've got the picnic license on page 3 there
Right?
that we changed. Everything else was pretty much just pulling it out, not really changing anything dollar-wise.
special events fee is still at 60.
Oh, that's one thing I was gonna say. I went back to the special event ordinance. And what I did, I just pulled every ordinance that has changed since I started, and then I went back a little further even. And the special event ordinance doesn't state anywhere to look to this schedule for the fee.
Okay.
And it is on the application, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
All right, that's something that we can ask about.
And the other thing that I noticed was this, on page 2, 1-9, which is a whole 1 page long. But I had noticed that it had already been highlighted in red, this hourly wage stuff. That was something that was done before my time. And the ordinance and this line don't really jive. So that's one to probably look at also.
So we're looking at emergency
1-9,
government.
yeah.
1-9 emergency. Just for the public's information, we instituted the fee, bond, and deposit schedule about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
And we've been working to clean up the ordinances and put all of the dollar figures into this fee schedule so that it can be easily worked with and amended. So I guess I would motion to approve all of the updates to the fee schedule thus far.
I'll second it.
And is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the schedule of municipal fees, deposits, and bonds as published, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and all opposed, the same sign. Again, we can go back and look at the special events and the emergency and tune that up if we need to, which I think we probably do. Moving on. Item C, the discussion and decision on the application for 2015 Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grant. An introduction. Patricia Cicero is here. Patricia has been our partner. Patricia works for the Land and Water Department, Jefferson County Conservation, and she has helped us do a number of things with Clean Boats, Clean Waters. She has brought it to our attention. She has helped us to hire and interview those candidates we have. She's worked on the grant. She's worked on training all of those people who have worked for us and has looked towards the future, helping us write a contract or a grant for the next year. And we have also been working to draw the city of Lake Mills into the process. So, Patricia, maybe you would give us a little summary of the data that you have in front of us and lay out a course for 2015.
Sure. I put together this report so that you can see what has been accomplished in the last year. I do have extra copies if anybody else would like one in the audience. Basically at the beginning of this year you applied for a grant from the DNR, and that was for a minimum of 200 hours at the North End boat launch, but you agreed to add additional hours to cover all the other launches. We had 2 really wonderful employees who did the work. And the first table I have there summarizes the work that they've done. I did put the hours spent in 2013, last year, so that you can see what the DNR was able to do. They have limited time. The DNR people who do this work have a very large area and many, many lakes that they go to. So in 2013, they were only able to spend 15 hours on the launches on Rock Lake, but because of the grant that we received from the DNR to hire 2 watercraft inspectors, They spent a total of 364 hours at all the launches at various times to try to get different user groups. And you can see some more statistics about the number of boats entering or leaving the water that they contacted. They record the number of people in each boat that they've talked to and are actively listening to them. And then the last row has to do with where the boats that they contacted, if they had been in a different water body within the last 5 days. That number is important because if, for instance, a boat was in a water that had zebra mussels, and I understand we already have zebra mussels, but zebra mussel villagers can stay alive for 5 days out of water. So there's a lot of other species that could also have similar circumstances. So that's just one of the questions that is asked. And then if you go forward with the rest of this summary, is that of the people that answered the question about whether their boat had been on a different lake in the last 5 days, there were 87 who said that they had been on 1 or 2 different water bodies in the last 5 days. And if they were able to tell those water bodies, the inspectors wrote them all down. I think it's very interesting if you look at that table, that not only do we have boats coming from other states, but as far north as Vilas County, over to Lake Michigan, and lots of different counties. So a sense of how popular Rock Lake is. The other thing I did there was list. If we have the information, I listed the species, the invasive species found in those water bodies that are invasive that Rock Lake does not yet have. So basically there was at least 49 instances when boats came from waters with documented aquatic invasive species that Rock Lake does not have. So that just shows the value of having these inspectors protecting the lake and making sure we don't have any more bad things coming our way. And so I've already been talking to Hope a little bit about next year. The grant is also available to the county to the town to apply for again, and I am more than happy to help with that. The deadline this year is a little bit different because they've changed, the DNR's changed their grant process, so it's December 15th. The other thing that Hope and I were talking about was working with the city to encourage them to either apply for their own grant, and then we would hire inspectors in common, or we might do what we did last year, which was, cover the other launches. I would personally like to see more hours spent at Sandy Beach. I think it's great to still have 200 hours at the North End Boat Launch. You can see they contacted more than 2,000 boaters to give the message to, which was really great. But it would be great to have 200 hours at Sandy Beach too. So that's why we'd like to try to partner with the city.
And that's one of the key things to this grant, right? That it is written in such a way that the inspection is focused on one specific boat launch. You have to have 200 hours, correct, at that one specific boat launch? Every
launch that you list, and this year we listed North End Boat Launch, you are required to spend 200 hours there.
Right.
And you can ask for up to $4,000 for each launch. So if we listed Sandy Beach launch also, we could get 200 hours. We would say we'd do 200 hours at both of those, and we could get up to $8,000 from the DNR. And I provided Sarah with the accounting of the work that I provided. My work is a match to the grant so that you don't have to provide that cash. So my time spent training the inspectors, and also I helped with the interview process and writing up the job description, things like that, and getting them materials that they need and answering their questions. So I forget how many hours I spent or how much money it ended up coming out to, $600 or $800, I forget, around there. So that time is just the time that the county pays me to coordinate with lake groups and towns who want to do similar work.
I got some feedback from the watercraft inspectors on this too, if you're interested in that.
Oh, we'd like to
Sure.
hear that.
One of them said, I think that the grant definitely is worth applying for. It helps Rock Lake boaters to be more educated and mindful of the impact that they may be having on Wisconsin water bodies. Even at the end of the summer, I was still running into people who were unaware of laws pertaining to boaters. That's one of them. And the other one said, as far as applying, again, I'm all for it. It was a good experience, and it seemed to be a very popular program with the majority of the boaters, especially those who lived around the lake's perimeter. The most common comment or suggestion from boaters was the strong desire that the town provide cleaning stations at the launches, i.e. pressure washing. Also, part of the message we were to convey to the boaters was the need to deposit aquatic vegetation and unused bait in waste receptacles. However, there were none available at Ferry Park and Elm Point. Perhaps grant requests should include money for cleaning stations, trash cans, and cost of upkeep.
Good suggestion.
That grant money can't be used for that.
Okay? That answers that question.
You know, and we've struggled with the trash receptacle thing at both of those launches. I kind of did a throwdown to Johns and said, you know, what could you come up with for us? And their basic suggestion was a 2-yard dumpster. And that did not seem reasonable.
No.
One thing maybe we could do is we could give supplies to the inspectors so that they have hardy trash bags, and then at the end of their shift, they could just deposit the trash bag. Is there another place in the town where they could deposit the trash bag?
Not really, and that's the
yet.
issue.
Okay.
The 2-yard dumpster seemed to be something that would be abused pretty regularly, so.
Yeah. So at the north end, there's trash
Yes,
receptacles,
there are.
so
County Park.
maybe we could, the town or the county?
Those are county park dumpsters.
Okay, so maybe we could ask the county if it would be okay if that happened there. I know who to ask.
Well, it's definitely one of those things that we'd like to solve. You know, we did this year lease some porta potty, a porta potty for the Ferry Park launch. We do not have a porta potty at the Elm Point launch, and we don't have trash receptacles at Ferry or Elm Point.
One other thing I had quite a few people ask is about putting a light up Ferry Park.
Ferry, there's no light there.
There's no light there.
I had a fisherman call me and said how much they appreciated the seasonal restroom at Ferry Park because some gentlemen are older and it's hard for them to walk all the way across the north end to the bathroom.
And we want those fishermen to be happy. That's what we want. So I think some really interesting things have come from this. I really think we put a lot of energy into it and had some really great employees.
Yeah, Bud Downs, the semi-retired teacher, said that he would definitely be available next year if this program was to continue. Cody Shepard, however, is, you know, he's a college student and he's going to be traveling Europe, I think, next year. So,
To find another inspector.
But we had plenty of people interested in it.
yeah.
Yes,
Good
we did.
candidates, too.
Some super good candidates, too. I did a little personal diplomacy with the city. I asked if one of the council members would consider sponsoring the legislation to write this grant. If we, as the town, would consider doing the heavy lifting of the paperwork and employees. And I don't think it was that much of a burden for you. It was a little extra work for me. It was a heck of a lot of work for you, Patricia, but it's part of her job. So I would think that if we would apply, the city may follow suit and certainly turn the project right over to us and our administration, if that is agreeable to you guys. So I think what we need tonight is a motion for the town to apply for the 2015 Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grant. The deadline is coming fast, December 15th.
So moved.
Second.
You might need to
Look at
pass
that.
that. I just realized.
All right.
More fine print?
More fine print. So we have a motion on the floor to apply for the town for Clean Boats, Clean Waters 2015. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. What you're putting forward here is that this is a certification. The blank requests grant funds under the Department of Natural Resources Aquatic Invasive Species Grant Program and hereby authorizes blank to act on its behalf by signing and submitting an application for assistance, completing and submitting periodic reports if needed, and taking necessary actions to direct and complete the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. The blank will meet the financial obligations of the AIS program. So this is something we'd have to hammer out with the city.
Well,
I think
if
what
you're
you're
going
saying
to be, yeah.
Go ahead.
We're
If you're
gonna
going to be
the
applying
fiduciary.
for it, definitely, all those blanks, I believe, would be the town of Lake
Town of Lake
Mills.
That's what it was last
Correct.
year.
Yeah,
I've got
that's
last
what
year's.
That's what I was assuming.
Yeah.
One of the authorized was you.
I wrote that, huh? didn't
Yeah,
I?
you did.
And I would
Oh, yeah.
recommend, I don't know if it was a person's name, but I would recommend having it be the chair of the town board instead of a
what
name.
That's what we did
also.
last year.
Things change.
Not that I'm thinking it will, but
Yeah, but you
just
never
in
know.
case, there's more paperwork that might need to be done to change that if it happens.
Okay,
So do we actually need to make a motion, or does,
That's a resolution,
That's a
and I
resolution.
think at the bottom, Hope, does it say passed on what date and
adopted.
adopted day of 2000 by the secretary or clerk, signature of authorized representative, I believe, is you or Sarah, and then the date signed.
Well, we just passed it, so the adoption date is today.
yes,
All
Yeah,
right,
that's what we used last year.
yeah, and just we'll
Get
fill
her
in
done.
the blanks appropriately.
I don't think
So
it's a
it's Town of Lake
resolution, I think
Mills.
it's
Yep.
just,
And then chairperson is being the,
And can it be, does it have to be a stated person, or can we just put chair?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah, it's very reasonable. So then the motion is, or the resolution is to request grant funds from the Department of Natural Resources for AIS grant program, and that the town of Lake Mills, the town chair, will be acting in its behalf.
Okay. So moved. I'll second.
All right? Is there any more discussion?
are we gonna use the same budget as we did last year? That's on page 2 there.
Well, we're gonna sit down and redo the budget,
Okay.
but I think we'd be very close to the same budget.
Would that be affected if the city does decide to move forward with this? Will there be extra dollars, will there be extra significant dollars in our administration of theirs? Because it sounds like they would not move forward if they have to do the administration, hire, all of that kind of.
And I don't think it will require us to do too much more to administer it, other than
There might
perhaps
be
adding to the
increased
payroll.
budget because if you add more hours to Sandy Beach, I mean, you had 66 hours this year with the current budget, so if you want to get up to that 200 hours, you would a little more than double it.
Right, but we were assuming that the city would apply for the grant and then we would be the administration.
The fiduciary.
Oh, I see.
Okay, right, and,
I was envisioning this sort of like we do the boat audit, because we do all the lake patrol, and then we do all of the grant, all of the application submission and all of that stuff. And when all of it's said and done, then we split the remainder with the city and we bill them for that. So I'm thinking of this kind of in a similar fashion.
I think it's a great
In fact, I've already
partnership.
suggested that to their city clerk too, so.
I think it's a great partnership for us to help with. So, all in favor? We did that already?
Nope, we're waiting for you to say.
All in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye, and all opposed, same sign. Thank you. I would encourage the city to look at the details that Patricia has brought forward for us and the successes that we had in 2014, and look forward to their partnership in 2015. Item D, board expense approval sheets. Anybody got? You must have some, Jim.
I have one. I've been going through a lot of stamps with all this absentee voting stuff.
All right. Yes, you have.
You want to take that? Thank you.
Pass that along. Do you want to say anything right now, Sarah, about absentee balloting?
Sure. It is available through the end of the month. Right now, it's by mail only. In-person begins on the 20th, and it's by appointment. So call me, email me anytime. I'm pretty flexible, but I don't see a whole lot of point in setting up a time frame here when there's nothing else here. So I'm doing it all by appointment. And one other thing to note is the state has set time frames for this. So they do not allow it after 5 p.m. on weekdays, and they do not allow it on weekends. So we do have to work within those constraints.
So in the 8 hours of normal business,
Yep.
you are accepting calls for appointments for absentee ballots, which runs through the end of the month. All right. Sarah, it's a lot of work for you. We appreciate you doing it. I know it's the first time for you, and the rules are changing as we
You
speak.
should probably note that, there is no photo ID requirement
All
for
right.
this election any longer.
Okay. Item number 12, correspondence. I'm sure you got a whole raft
No,
of it.
actually, it's not bad this month.
Okay.
But I had a note put in the mailbox out front here that says, "My box broken and on ground." And it's written on the back of a United States Postal Service note about where to put your mailbox. But there's no name, no address. So if anyone happens to be watching that wrote this, please let me know, because I can't fix it if I don't know where the problem is. I had one item, I wasn't sure what to do with. The Boy Scouts are selling Christmas wreaths, and I know we haven't had a Christmas wreath on the door before, and I know we don't really have much money to donate to anything, but I thought this one was something I should ask you about anyway. So if you like to buy a Christmas wreath for the town hall, we had a request. I don't know, did you guys get the email from Donna Hogum about the Jefferson County Mass Fatality Plan that they are working on? No, okay. It's a 70-page document. It was attached to my email. And it's, as she says, it's a lot of reading, but there's specific information for each agency and municipality that you should be aware of if such a situation should happen. Well, I scanned through the document for any mention of municipality and specifics, and I couldn't find it, but we have it. If anyone wants to take a closer look at it, I did not take the time to dig too deep.
Because this really is EMS, fire, any emergency services,
Okay.
police, That's really what the document is all about.
Okay.
So that if there was mass casualty, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. At least that is my understanding, correct?
Okay, so the rest of us here who don't fall into those categories would not be needing to know what's in there?
Well, it might be helpful to know.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's in this plan, it's still in the planning stages, as I understand it, so they were just looking for comments and stuff, they're still working on it. So that's out there. Sand Hill Station Campground, there is some, how does he say that? Dredging project, does that
Yes.
sum it up? That's happening November, when the ground's frozen.
When it's frozen.
Oh, okay, good.
So they were just making us aware, you responded that they should be aware of the road conditions and
Yep.
such, but this is the DNR that's working with, the Unz family actually is where they're gonna put some of the
Dessert.
spoil
The
material,
spoils.
so. Making us aware of that. Local Government Center, UW Extension has some more, trainings. This one is about, telecommunication towers,
Okay.
other things related, and then we got the latest Baxter and Woodman News Consulting Engineers, if anyone wants to look at that. So really not too bad.
I think you're getting better at throwing some of it in the garbage.
Perhaps.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, item number 13 is meeting scheduled. October 21st at 7 PM is a special meeting of the town board. We're going to be entertaining the 2015 budget. This is our annual October budget workshop. You'll make sure that I get there.
We'll make sure.
Um,
You're bringing lunch, so
Right. Wednesday, November, well, these are important dates to remember because we're changing our Tuesday night meetings because we have an election on November 4th, which ties up the town hall. So November 5th is the Planning Commission meeting at 8 PM, and November 4th, the Joint Rock Lake Committee at 6 PM at the City Hall. November 11th is the next scheduled town board meeting. November 1st and November 22nd are the two brush pickup dates that we have scheduled for John's. This is also brush and leaf pickup. You'll be able to visit the website for any directions that you have. And also at this time of the year, I always say, if you have a ton of leaves and you have decided to light a match to them, be especially careful and vigilant of wind speeds and the dryness of the conditions, and also very vigilant of your neighbors. You have no excuse to burn leaves in the town of Lake Mills. If you decide that you would like to have them picked up, that service is available for you. You just have to follow the rules. You don't want to have any dry tragedies, burning down houses.
Give the 2 dates again, please.
November 1st, which is a Saturday, and November 22nd, which is a Saturday. And John's usually moves through our neighborhoods very early in the morning.
So get it out there the night before.
Get it out there the night before, and the rules are all on our website. Anything else that you need to ask is on our website. Just be very vigilant if you decide to put match to flame. And now, adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Uh,
Thank you very much.